Et je donne maintenant la parole à Madame Catherine Russell.
Excellencies, colleagues, good afternoon. It's so good to be here with you for this very important discussion on the deepening humanitarian crisis in Haiti. I'd like to express my appreciation to Ambassador Pascal Birisil for hosting this briefing during Switzerland's Security Council presidency and for inviting me here today. I'm speaking here both as UNICEF Executive Director and as the designated principal advocate on the humanitarian situation in Haiti for the Interagency Standing Committee. Excellencies, since I briefed you 6 months ago on the crisis in Haiti, the catastrophic situation has continued to deteriorate. Each day, Haitians endure some of the worst abuses, rights violations, and threats to their lives that we are seeing anywhere in the world. According to a report last month from the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, more than 3,600 people have reportedly been killed in 2024. Armed groups are regularly committing grave rights violations against children, including killing and maiming. And so far this year, we have seen a staggering increase in reported incidents of sexual violence against women and children, including gender-based violence. Armed groups are also actively recruiting and using children in their operations. We estimate that children account for 30 to 50% of armed group members. They are being used as informants, cooks, and sex slaves, and they are being forced to perpetrate armed violence themselves. Across the country, 5.5 million people, including 3 million children, needed humanitarian assistance so far this year, with nearly half of the population facing severe food insecurity and increasing malnutrition. More than 700,000 people, including over 360,000 children, are now internally displaced. Many have sought shelter with relatives and host families far from their own homes, while thousands are living in overcrowded camps or shelters where they are still at risk of violence and exploitation. Just this past weekend, attacks in the metropolitan area of Port-au-Prince left an additional 4,000 people displaced. This cycle of violence and displacement is now a lethal pattern that is upending the lives of children and families. The crisis is also depriving children of their right to education. So far this year, over 300,000 children have lost out on learning, with schools being closed, attacked, or repurposed as temporary shelters for displaced people. As the new school year gets underway, children who are out of school will be at heightened risk of violence and recruitment by armed groups. In addition, the violence and insecurity are undermining the ability of humanitarian actors to consistently reach patients in need. While our teams have worked tirelessly to reach areas controlled by armed groups with some success, our access remains limited, uneven, and unpredictable. Consequently, many of the 1.6 million women and children who live in besieged communities are largely cut off from humanitarian aid. Despite the rampant violence and dire humanitarian conditions, children and families are still being returned to Haiti. Many of those being returned are highly vulnerable, often lacking resources, official documentation, and access to essential services. In some cases, children who have been returned have little to no family support in Haiti, and they're left to fend for themselves. Even in the face of violence and limited access, aid workers are staying and continuing to deliver assistance to people in need. So far this year, the UN and our partners have reached over 1.2 million people with food, almost 500,000 with critical water, sanitation, and hygiene supplies. We've screened nearly 300,000 children for wasting, and we've provided nearly 600,000 people with health services. But this is far from enough. With conditions worsening by the day, we must urgently expand the humanitarian response, including in the areas controlled by armed groups. This response should also strengthen the capacity and resiliency of Haitian organizations and institutions over the longer term. Excellencies, here I must emphasize that a scaled up and sustained response will only be successful with robust support from this Council. Now is the moment for all of us to invest in Haiti, its people, and its future, but the window for action is shrinking. I urge Council members to commit to a series of critical steps to help the population of Haiti. First is to use your leverage with state actors and armed groups to protect human rights, to end grave rights violations against children, and to cease attacks on civilian infrastructure. Second, it is to significantly increase flexible humanitarian funding to humanitarian actors on the ground. The humanitarian response plan for Haiti remains just 42% funded for 2024. Next is to scale up complementary investments in basic social services and development assistance to support recovery and resilience building. And finally is to improve protection support for humanitarian operations on the ground. Excellencies, today is my last occasion to speak with you as the principal advocate on the humanitarian situation in Haiti for the Interagency Standing Committee. I take this opportunity to thank you for your efforts to date to alleviate the crisis, and I implore all of us to urgently prioritize increased political and financial commitments for Haiti. This is a pivotal moment for the country, with the Transitional Presidential Council and the government now in place leading the effort, and with the multinational security support mission supporting security initiatives. These are both very important steps. Now we must do our part. The international community has the tools and the resources to help Haiti emerge from this crisis and to embark on a sustained road to recovery. The question is one of will. Do we have the will to do what's needed, to work hand in hand with the Haitian people to build a peaceful, prosperous society where human rights are expected and respected and upheld? I believe that we do. Haitians, and particularly the children of Haiti, are counting on us. We must not, and we cannot let them down. Thank you all very much.